Welcome everyone to the Legacy Leagues post-game show, week 3 of the winter 2023-2024 season. Can't believe I got that right. I'm Greg Horne. I'm not Joey Zacco, as you can see below. Definitely not him. We got Connor with me, Alexandra, and Jahbari. Guys, how you doing?
What's up, guys?
Doing good, bro.
Hey,
All right, amazing. All right, well, I guess we'll just get right into it. We're back from the holidays and a new year, so happy new year to everyone, that's watching and plays in legacy leagues, but from us. But we'll get right into it with sports look and get money. I was the one who was on the court for that game, and it was uh not the best game. They both shot under 40% as a team. Sportslook made 1-3, and Get Money is just a little more athletic than them. And that's pretty much all I got from that game. I mean, the McCree brothers they're amazing athletes. They're actually a little better at shooting than I expected. They're starting to figure out the size of the hoop and the difference from playing on 10 to 8. And I think Get Money's a really good team going forward. I think they're starting to kind of figure out their niche in this league. And I really like what I see as far as sports look. It's the same old sports look. The same. This is the same team that was playing when I was an intern. They just they just sometimes shoot themselves out of games because they're not as athletic as the other teams. And in this league, when you can't match another team's athleticism, you have to shoot well. And they just really have not done that so far. But Sportslook is one of those teams that can always turn it around. And I know Connor's remembers them. You got
Oh
anything
yeah.
that you think Sportslook could do going forward?
Well, first things first, it's the same issues with Sportsbook in terms of just a lack of bodies. They
Yeah.
typically show up with four, and if they're lucky, they get five or six. Looks like they had five last night. The return of Matt Marconi, I thought that was a big storyline going in. I saw him yesterday, and I was, psyched to see him back. He's a legend in this league. He's been around for a long time, and he's got a lot of crazy stats that he's put up in this league. So good to see Marconi back. Not the best night for him. Obviously, we expect big stats from him, but I would expect to see more along the way as he gets his legs back underneath him in the league. But yeah, I think Get Money, a lot of potential in this team, man. The McCray brothers, like you mentioned, they got the strap. They can shoot that ball, and it's good to see some new blood getting in this league, taking on a veteran team and coming out with a big win. So I think Sportsbook's got potential. They're a team that maybe people would look at them at their record and say it's a team that we could overlook, but definitely a veteran team that they're going to try to scrap all the way through. But like I said, a good win for Get Money.
Yeah, no, a great win. And with going on to the next game, shout out Get Money, shout out Sportslook. It was a good one. Another game, very similar score, very close. And that was would have been and the Basket Brawlers. I know the Basket Brawlers were missing a few guys, and we'll kind of get to that a little later, but would have been ended up winning 52-44. And I wouldn't say an upset, but it's a good game with kind of two middle of the pack teams. So I like what I see from Jacob Morales. I really like him as a player, but I'll kind of kick it to Jahbari here. Jahbari, what did you see from would have been and Basket Brawlers?
So going into the game, it's a great game. Um, both teams are pretty good in my defense. Both great chemistry. Basket Brawlers, it was in my defense, they had less players. They only had 5 players. They was once missing one key player. If I'm not mistaken, it was number 22. Forgot his name, but he was absent in the game. And usually when he's on the court, it's not even close. He's dominant every time. So it's like I feel like they was missing that one key player in the paint that could really control like the pace of the team and wise and get to their shots and stuff like that where they wanted to. Like I feel like without him, they was forcing shots and stuff like that and really just try to get their way to the foul line and stuff like that without really coming up with plans. I feel like with would have been, um, they had more players in my defense. Yeah, it was a good game, but they could have played better in my defense. With the amount of players they have substitutions and stuff like that. So it's like they had the pace to really maneuver around basketballers and like be dominant. Yes, they won, but in my defense, the game should have been not even close with how the players are, with the number of players for both teams. It's just that just comes to shows like how good basketballers could be with just 5 players. Now just think if they had extra players on their team. In my defense, they're a top 3 team in the league. In my defense, now if they had extra players, considerable number 1. But for now, I can say top 3.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I feel you on that. I think they do have good potential. We saw a few of them in the league before, so I think they're just kind of finding their footing and just getting back used to
Yeah.
it. But Alexandra, what did you kind of get from this game?
I actually found this game to be the most entertaining one last night. It was definitely very heated. Basketballers was actually, I believe, in the lead at first, and then would have been came back. On Basketballers, number 0, Jaden Battle made 19 points last night. He was definitely on fire. I feel like would have been had some bigger players, definitely for sure, but he was pretty quick with everything. I know Grillo, Santiago Moral, so 4, 21, 25 with the assists. The game was definitely very close. I was personally kind of shocked that would have been got in the lead. But it was a pretty good game.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, from what I saw doing HD, I thought it was pretty good. Connor, you got anything?
Yeah, like Alexandra said, it was a surprising comeback for would have been. They found themselves down like 9 points. I think pretty much like end of the third quarter. It was crazy. There was like Alexandra said, it got heated. It got really heated. There was a little scuffle on the court. And I actually asked them about that in the post-game interview, and they said go back and look at week 1. I guess something happened week 1 that sparked that conflict there that carried over here into week 3. It was good to see everybody de-escalate the situation, and they talked about it, how everybody left it all on the court, after the game was over. Everybody was zapping up and, tempers cooled down. So that was good to see. But it's also, it's fun to see these guys. They're passionate about their craft here. They're showing up, they're playing to win, and sometimes things get intense, and it makes it fun to watch as a fan. I'm sure even as a player, it engages you further into that game. Digging in for that win. But yeah, the basketballers, Jaden Battle, Jaden and Chad. That's my Kobe Shaq duo from the past. That's my all-star duo that unfortunately Greg took down when we went head-to-head in the all-star game 2 years ago. But love to see Jaden back. I was talking to him before the game. He said he struggled week 1. He said I'm just getting my legs underneath me again. He hasn't hooped in a while. So he definitely, he broke out last night. He looked good. He had some crazy dunks, some crazy reverse layups. He's hitting shots. He's snagging rebounds. So it's good to see him back in action, playing at the level we expect him to. But definitely a great comeback win for would have been. And they were just saying, how, they were playing through the whistle. There was a lot of, controversial missed calls or, calls that could have gone either way. But everybody stayed level-headed, and it was a good win by them.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, shout out would have been. It was a big win for them. I think they're trending in the right direction. And we'll just move on to the next game. And that same court, it was the Biggest Skis versus Crown Squad, and Biggest Skis then it ended up taking it 50-36. I didn't really see this game. I just kind of got a few clips from it because we were dealing with some issues. Because shout out Chris Jasinski, he wasn't there. And we're gonna have. I guess Sevi Velasquez went off and Raquan Nash, but you guys really saw it more than I did. So, Jahbari, what did you see from Crown Squad, and what did you see from Biggest Skis, and why did the Biggest Skis kind of pull away in this one?
I feel like Biggest Skis, they had the heart. They was just from the start of the game, they put pace on the gas and never backed down. They was always dominant to me. Majority of the players was getting to their shots. They was not backing down. They was never giving up. Unlike, what was the other team? Was it Crown?
Crown Squad.
Yep, Crown Squad. My defense with Crown Squad, I feel like The chemistry needs to become better in my defense. Um, they didn't really. They sort of was like pushing towards the late of the second half where they was getting to their groove and stuff like that. But it was already too late because Biggest Keys already had a major lead on them, and they didn't like let them get too close up to them. Like as you can see in the score, it was a dominant game like for Biggest Keys. Like it was not even close. So moving forward, I feel like what the Crown Squad could work on is their team chemistry and stuff like that, and try to talk more with each other while in the game wise, and like helping each other out on sidelines and on the court, get into their shots and stuff like that. But I still see that they have potential. Unlike Biggest Keys, I always had them at my number one. I feel like the Biggest Keys for them, their energy on and off the court is like any others in my defense. It's like they have shooters, they have rebounders, they have these athletic dunkers and stuff like that on the team, and I feel as if they're not. No other team is doing it like them in my defense. So shout out to Biggest Keys.
Yeah, no, love that. I mean, Alexandra, what can you echo some of that?
I like in defense for Crown Squad, they also, they started the game a little late. I know the clock was running, and
Yeah.
Biggest Skis got, they started with the 2 free throws, while they were waiting, while Crown Squad was waiting for their team. So I feel like game one was just rocky from the beginning. I know on Crown Squad, player number 12, oh no, yeah, he had 12 points, and I know he kept losing his glasses. I saw the lens pop out a few times. I know he was struggling with that too. On Biggest Skis, number 14 kept throwing 3-pointers. He made 3 of them. I think 2 of them were like in a row. They were definitely on fire, but Crown Squad, I mean, I just didn't think they started off with like a fair chance, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I mean, that makes sense, and that kind of shows in the final score. Connor, you got anything else?
They touched up on most of it. Yeah, there was some crazy stuff. So Alexandra mentioned the guy's glasses that first he got them smacked off his head, then he gets them back after the referee blew a dead ball. And then they got smacked off his head again, the lenses popped out. And then one of his teammates got popped in the ear. He had an earring in, his ear started bleeding really bad. Alexandra saved the day. She had a little med kit in her bag. She has so she gets the award for that, for helping him out. But yeah, that was another good game. Stevie Velasquez was the guy I chose to do the player of the game interview because he definitely went off. He carried that team to that win, 15 points last night, 7 rebounds. He led the team in both those stats. I mean, that's legacy leagues, right? If whoever on your team is going to lead the team with points and rebounds in a lower rent league, you're pretty much going to be the physical force that the other team's going to try to concentrate on. So I expect him to generate a lot of defensive attention in the future now that he's kind of cemented himself as the guy on the Biggest Skis. So yeah, an all around well-rounded win for them. And yeah, Crown Squad, I like these guys. These guys, they travel all the way from New York, so it means a lot to them. These are late nights for everybody. These games go off late at night, and these guys got a long drive to and from the facility. So a lot of dedication on their end. All good dudes. Hopefully they can, get some momentum and get some wins. But Biggest Skis got them this week.
Yeah, no, totally. Shout out both teams. I think both of them, I think the Biggest Skis are trending up and Crown Squad might be trending down, but I think they got some pieces they can work with and they'll kind of figure a few things out and maybe can pull a few wins off. But we'll go to our last game of the night. It was Yaga versus Redeem Team, a Legacy League classic this game. A lot of familiar faces in this league. I mean, if you go through and you click on a few of these guys and you go to their player profiles, it's a long list. You got players like Reggie Store, Eric Singleton, Eric Langston. I mean, you got Mike Davis. I mean, Mike dominates the league. How many am I going to say it? But just this is such a Legacy League matchup, Yaga Redeem Team, and I know that Alexandra and Jahbari were in the other court. So Connor, what did you see from this game? Because I know you did catch the end of it. So I'll kind of let you start kind of what you thought in the end, what Yaga did to pull away.
So there's a couple key elements missing in this game. First of all, like we mentioned, no Chris Rosinski, the captain of Yaga.
Yeah.
You know, maybe not the captain on the court, but definitely the spirit of the team not being there last night. And then also it was an abbreviated game. Unfortunately, Yaga couldn't get all their guys to the court on time. So there was a good chunk of time in that first quarter where, you know, there was just no action going on. So a shortened game, but nonetheless, like you said, this is just a classic Legacy League matchup. If we had a Hall of Fame, a lot of these guys in this game would have an argument to be in there. Some of them would be first ballot type of guys. But yeah, I love to see Pratt just going at it with the guys on Redeem Team, and you know, it means a lot to them because this history goes back with some of these guys, with Reggie Stewart, Will Hudson, Eric Langston, you know, obviously Mike Davis. There's just so many classic names in these matchups, and I cannot wait to see them face off in the future. I know they got another game scheduled against one another, and then maybe we can even anticipate a playoff matchup amongst them as well. But yeah, I think Redeem definitely looked like they had a chance at some point in that game, and obviously I was on the other court, but I caught the end of it, and it looked like Yaga, you know, pulled away late in the end, and that was obviously what drove them to that victory. So another huge game from Eric, another huge game from Mike, Pratt, and Dave Armstrong just doing his thing, cleaning up the boards, finishing those dunks at the rim. So, you know, I expect these guys to both be top two contenders going forward. I don't take too much away from Redeem for losing this game because they lost to a great team. So definitely a great win for Yaga. We'll see if they can keep that momentum going, as they're, I'm pretty sure, the only undefeated team left in the league at this point.
Yeah, no, I mean, totally. And I guess I'll kind of just kick it to you, Jahbari, and then Alexandra real quick. And I know you guys didn't catch the game, but is there anything about either team that you guys like? It could be very simple. It could be just a few sentences. Just do you like something about Yaga, or do you like something about Redeem Team? So Jahbari.
For me, I like Yaga's energy. I didn't get to fully watch the game, but I saw a little here like glimpse of the game, stuff like that. When I peeked over, it was a very close game. Yaga was very conspicuous with their where they're talking upon other teammates and stuff like that, telling them what other players was doing and stuff like that, where to get to, being confident with their other players, motivating them to take the shots. Like, I just love their energy. If anything, I want everybody to like have their type of energy moving forward. Like, just showing that much confidence in your teammates and stuff like that. You love that in a team.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Energy. I like it. Alexandra?
Um, I would have to go with the other team, Redeem Team. I didn't catch the game, but I remember interviewing, I think Reggie my first week, and I liked his energy. So I've seen them play too. They were really close. And then just based off both these teams, you know, the amount of points that they shot, games are intense.
Yeah, no, I think energy is kind of a really good way to describe the game. It was very intense. It's one of this matchup will be intense going on. I mean, it's definitely one of the potential title games that could be Yaga v Redeem. I mean, it's going to be a good one going forward. It's going to be, you know, it's going to be interesting to see what both of them can do to, you know, we can see if Redeem can bounce back next week, and I'm pretty sure they play again this season, so we'll see that. But we'll end it here with one last question. Is there a team for you guys that really that you would pick outside of Yaga that really excites you going forward? We'll start with you, Jahbari.
Like I said earlier, biggest skis. It's like right now, I believe now they're 2-1 now, so it's like their rank should go right up if I'm not mistaken. So they're right there with Yaga and Redeem Team in my defense, especially since Redeem Team just took the L, so now they're also 2-1. So it's like now you can't sleep on the biggest skis anymore. Like, I don't believe anybody were, but now they really can't. Like, now they're really showing the people like how consistent they are. Like they get into their groove, like they're finding their chemistry within each other, and it's like I don't think nobody should take that for granted. I feel like everybody should be on alert for the biggest keys.
Awesome, Alexandra.
Oh, she here?
Because I think you're muted, Greg. I think she's muted.
Oh,
Hello.
I'm muted too.
There we
Oh,
go.
Oh,
there we go.
oops,
Nope, all
sorry.
good.
So I said, I know basketballers lost yesterday, but Jaden Battle, number 0, I think he's one of my favorite players. I really enjoy watching him. So I like, I would have to go with that team. I really like them. I think they have a lot of potential.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's a team that they have experience in this league, and they're two. Chad and Jaden are two of the better players in this league, so they're gonna definitely a team to watch going forward. And I love the biggest skis. Connor, what about you?
Um, Honestly, my pick might be a little under the radar. People might laugh at it, but I think the team that you got to keep an eye on is Sportsbook. This is just a classic Sportsbook season so far, where things just don't go their way in the regular season. They tend not to get, like we said earlier in the show, they don't tend to get their full team there for these regular season matchups. But they're always known to be that team when the playoffs start that you might look at the schedule and be like, oh, nice, we got Sportsbook in the first round. This is going to be a nice, easy matchup for us. Until they show up and all of a sudden they got a bigger roster, they get their guys there, and they don't go down without a fight. So I know there's a lot of new blood in this league right now, which is great. We love to see new teams getting involved within the league. So there's a lot of excitement about those new teams. And with that comes sometimes the ability to overlook these veteran teams like Sportsbook that they know the grind, they know what it takes. They're just an experienced roster that has, they got good size, they got good athletes. They're probably one of the older rosters in terms of age, so maybe like having that lesser stamina definitely impacts them negatively when they don't get their full bench to show up. So I think if they could get their bodies there, it's a team that, like I said, they could definitely ruffle some people's feathers come playoff time if you're not on your A game. So Sportsbook would be my team.
No, definitely. That's a great pick. They're a veteran team, and those guys all can ball. They're tough. They're big. They have good size. I think that's something that they have some big guys, and it's big going forward, especially later on in the season, having that size. But for Alexandra, Jahbari, Connor, and everyone from Legacy Leagues, we wish you all a happy new year. And that was the week 3 post game show. Week 4 is next week. And we got some good games, so definitely check out next week's. And yeah, hope you all have a happy new year.